What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Evan and I make videos about hot stocks, dividends, and options. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Now in today's video, we're going to go over whether NIO can continue going up through 2021 and whether they can maintain this pace that they've been having the last few months. But before we actually jump into it, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it, and it lets me know that you guys enjoy these video updates every day. So again, if you guys wouldn't mind going down and hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it. But with that out of the way, to kind of give you guys some context of where NIO is trading, especially if you guys haven't been paying attention to NIO the last few days, they've actually been trading on a pretty upwards trend the last week or so. And as of today, actually, they're up almost 4%. They're trading right around that $48 to $49 area, right at $48.50 as of right now. And again, they're up almost 4% on the day. Now on the 1 week, NIO is up over 14%. And this shows you more exaggerated on how NIO has been going up the past week pretty consistently. And this is a good thing to see because we know recently NIO has been on a pretty solid downtrend. And at least as of the last month or so, they've been pretty much red all month. Besides this last week where they've been trending up and they've been in the green. But when we look at the 1 month, this is where you can see where they've been down pretty much the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. Now again, that's besides this last week of trading. But on the 1 month, they're down right over 5%. And again, you can see it's a pretty constant downwards trend. And the surprising thing about NIO trending down this past week is that most of the news that came out that ended up affecting NIO wasn't even specific news to NIO. It kind of started when there was news about delisting of Chinese stocks, and now that's kind of popped up in the news again. And so people are sort of worrying about it, but it's not really taking its toll like it did originally, because we know when that news first came out, there was a lot of panic, especially among Chinese stocks and among investors who were invested in these stocks. But aside from the delisting news, which I'm sure most of you guys are already aware of, there was also news about short sellers that were shorting both XPeng and Li Auto. And then we know Candy Technology also came out and there was accusations that there was fraud in their company. And so Candy dropped quite drastically, and then that affected NIO and these other Chinese EV stocks as well. But then after this news about these other companies being shorted, which obviously isn't directly tied to NIO, yet they were still affected. But after that news came out, these other companies like Li Auto, XPeng, and actually Tesla, they all sold shares to raise capital for each of their companies. And I believe Li Auto raised about 1.7 billion, Tesla raised about 5 billion, and then if I'm not wrong, I think XPeng raised about 2.5 billion or so. And so once that news came out for each of these companies, which was within about a 2-week span, obviously NIO had to jump on as well because they didn't want to be left behind or let these smaller companies like XPeng and Li Auto, they obviously didn't want to let those companies catch up to where NIO is at right now. So they decided to sell shares as well while there's a lot of hype around the EV space. And so they were able to raise right around $3 billion. Now they sold 68 million shares at $39 a piece, but then NIO's underwriters also got the option to buy about 10 million more shares. And I believe they did exercise those options. And so I believe the total amount is at 78 million additional shares. So obviously, as it's common sense, when a company adds more shares, each share is obviously going to be worth a slight bit less than it was originally worth before that stock dilution happened. So each of these companies affected NIO, and then NIO did their own stock dilution and their own offering, and then NIO continued going down. But now because of all this negative news is in the past, we're finally seeing NIO start creeping up again. But with all that negative news in the past, will this still allow NIO to charge higher into 2021? Or are they going to still kind of maintain where they're at and still trade relatively flat? Because we know that there's a lot of investor interest in NIO and these Chinese stocks and EV stocks as a whole. But the question comes down to whether people think these stocks are overvalued and whether they're going to continue being overvalued in the future, or if people consider them to be a good buy right now and if they can just grow from where they are right now. Now, I've said many times before that I think NIO and these other EV stocks are going to be worth way more in the future, but as of right now, with all this hype around the EV space, one could argue that these stocks are really overvalued when you look at their market cap, their earnings, and how many shares they have. And when you actually do a deep dive into what the company should be worth, you could argue that these stocks are overvalued. Now again, long term, they're going to be worth way more, hopefully. And so that's what these investors are planning on. But going into 2021, it could be a bumpy road, but we're going to go over that and what could possibly happen going into 2021. But just to give you guys some reference of how much NIO has actually grown, I'm sure most of you guys know that NIO has gone up pretty exponentially in the last few months. But in the last 14 months, NIO has gone up 4,700%. Now, I don't know many other stocks that have increased at that kind of a rate, especially considering that NIO is an automaker. They're not just some penny stock. Well, they were a penny stock, but they're not some penny stock anymore. And they're a full-fledged auto company where you could see gains like this in a normal penny stock. That's maybe just some odd company nobody's ever heard of. But a company like NIO that's a full-fledged automaker, and they've actually surpassed GM in terms of what their company is worth. To see these kinds of gains from a company like this is pretty incredible. But this maybe leaves you wondering if NIO can continue at these rates that they've been increasing. Now, I don't mean this 4,700% gain in the last 14 months. I'm more referring to just the last few months, how they've had a pretty consistent upwards trend. Now, you could leave out the last 3 or 4 weeks because they were red those weeks. But aside from these last few weeks, can NIO continue on a steady pace through the end of 2021 and into the future? Now, one thing to consider is that as long as NIO and these other EV stocks continue trading higher, the bulls that are interested in NIO are going to remain very bullish, and they're going to continue thinking NIO is going to be worth more and more in the future. It's not until we see NIO pulling back do these bulls actually kind of have a reset in their mindset, and they actually realize that a stock like NIO can trend downwards and it doesn't always continue going up. But again, as long as NIO does continue going higher, the bulls are going to remain very bullish on NIO, and they're going to continue buying more and more shares until we see these pullbacks, and then that's going to make investors worry. And while that should be the time to add more shares, that's when we're going to start seeing big sell-offs, and that's when we could see NIO's share price drop pretty drastically. But when NIO's November deliveries came out on December 1st, and they had announced that they delivered 5,291 vehicles, we saw NIO's share price jump up quite a bit. And this is a pretty common thing we see among NIO and these other EV stocks, is that when record deliveries come out month after month, the share price reacts pretty positively to this news. And so going into 2021, we know right at the beginning of the year there's NIO Day, and there's a lot of anticipation leading up to NIO Day. And with the news that's possibly going to be released about more information about the sedans they're releasing next year, when you partner that with other news that they're going to be releasing that they haven't mentioned yet on NIO Day, we could really see their share price jump up a pretty substantial amount because of NIO Day. And not only is NIO Day going to affect NIO's price in 2021, but we already know, like I just mentioned, each month we see their share price jump up a nice amount when NIO releases deliveries, as long as their deliveries are positive when you compare them to the previous month. And I think all throughout 2021, most months they're probably going to deliver more vehicles than the previous month, which means that they should set record deliveries most months, month after month next year. And so combining the fact that they're going to be setting record deliveries quarter after quarter, it looks like NIO's share price should shoot up a pretty substantial amount by the end of 2021. Now, there's a lot of people that argue these price analysts that have these ratings for 12 months into the future, they're nowhere near where NIO is going to be trading, because the high right now is right around a $60 price target, and NIO right now is trading right around $49. And so that kind of makes investors wonder, with the growth we've seen, why these analysts would put out such a low price target. But these analysts are taking everything into account and what the company should be worth realistically. Now, we know companies don't follow analyst predictions because they trade on their own, and a lot of stocks like NIO have a mind of their own. But these price predictions from these different analysts are taking all these things into account, like their revenue, their shares, earnings, everything like this. And so they have more of a relatively conservative mindset. But with the way NIO is trading right now, and with them being priced right around that $50 area, I think by the end of 2021, we could see that $100 share price. Now, you could argue that that's not having a very conservative mindset in terms of their share price. But when you look at the things that NIO has done and what they plan to do in the coming years, especially with this $3 billion raised recently, they're going to be delivering a lot more vehicles next year, and they're going to be beefing up their entire company. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised to see them double in share price by the end of next year. But I want to hear what you guys think down in the comments, and I want to hear what you guys think NIO is going to hit by the end of 2021. Now again, I think they possibly could hit that $100 mark. If I'm being a bit more conservative, I think they'll be right around that $70 to $80 area, but I think it's very possible and quite likely that they could get up to $100. Now obviously I'm not a financial advisor or a financial expert or anything. This is just kind of guessing based on where NIO has been in the past and what they kind of have planned for the future. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments and where you think their share price is going to be by the end of next year. Also, I recently made a Discord server, so if you guys want to join that, I'll have the link in the description, and I'll also have it pinned on the first comment down in the comment section. So if you guys want to join the Discord, it's totally free and you guys can join if you want to. Lastly, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you guys sign up using the link in the description. When you sign up and deposit $100, you'll get 4 free stocks. All you have to do is sign up and deposit $100. And this offer does end soon, so make sure you guys get your free stocks while you still can. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.